What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video from Prempods. Today we'll be going over game week 2, giving our tips and predictions for the Barclays Premier League. So yeah, without further ado, first game, 12:30 kickoff.
12:30 kickoff.
All of the games on the weekend, no Fridays, no Monday kickoffs. So Brighton kick off our game week against Manchester United at the Amex. 12:30, as I say. Can always be a bit of a up and down time.
Definitely.
For bigger teams as well. You know, even Liverpool have been complaining about 12:30s since Benitez. So, yes, it can be a difficult one sometimes. I'm going to go with Brighton on this occasion. Surprisingly, they are slightly the betting favourite, according to the bookies as well, which is quite interesting. Might be the past few games that they played against each other. I'm going with 2-1. Keep it short and sweet. United looked far too open still against Fulham.
Yes.
Brighton are definitely a team that can make you pay for being open.
For sure.
But yeah, it'll be an interesting game for sure. I could see it going the other way, honestly. 2-1 either way. United's favourite score, as we were saying last year.
Yeah.
But Brighton for me this time.
I have done the exact same scoreline, mate. I've gone 2-1 Brighton. Again, it's normally a banana skin for people, the 12:30. Yeah. But I honestly think the team that it could be a banana skin for in this game might be Brighton, because they're actually the better team. But I'm going to back Brighton.
All right.
But I'm saying that because they're the better team, they might actually get beat by United because of the banana skin.
I wouldn't necessarily say they're the better team. I just think more of a unit, less individuals.
Better team, innit?
They play
on paper, innit? Better as a team. That's what I mean, innit? These are all individuals. When you look at this team,
Brighton, not United. Yeah, Brighton were pretty poor near the mid to tail end of last season.
They were.
Started off very, very well.
They have.
Everyone was talking about top 4. We were talking about, well, look at Brighton, look what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I wouldn't say, I think United have definitely got a better team, like squad.
Yeah.
But how that translates onto the pitch is
squad, on paper, but 11 on the pitch, Brighton have definitely got a better team in it, as in like working together. That's what I mean when I say team in it. I don't mean the players, because obviously you can look at the names.
Yeah, literally.
But when they actually play together, they're horrible.
Yeah.
I think Brighton will get over the line this one. Although I'm in agreement with you that it could go either way.
Yes, for sure.
It's a very, very tight game. Moving on, we'll go on to the second game of the game week. We got Palace against West Ham.
Yes.
Please tell me, mate.
At Selhurst.
Yep.
First London derby, I think we were saying.
First London derby indeed.
This season. Sorry. West Ham disappointing to lose against Villa last time out.
Yep.
Palace disappointed to lose last time out against Brentford.
Yep.
Both teams wanted to get back on track as quick as possible. I'm going with West Ham on this occasion. I think they might just have enough to get over the line in this game. They're building a better squad, I think, and I think they do have a better team, starting 11 and squad than Crystal Palace, in my opinion. Especially with Palace losing a couple of key players. Well, Gahey's still 50-50,
up in the air, yeah.
Elise obviously is gone. So I'm going with West Ham.
Fair enough.
I think I said 2-1 for this one as well.
I think in your head you were saying 2-1, but I think you went 3-2. But you can go 2-1.
Did I say 3-2? Oh yeah, this is the one I said.
Yeah, you said it was going to be quite high scoring.
Yeah. Yes, let's go. Yeah, 3-2. Let's
go.
3-2. Still West Ham victory by a goal. So either way,
fair enough. I've gone Desmond, mate.
Yeah,
I've gone 2-2. Very close to your scoreline. Honestly, I just think the only thing I'm seeing here is a Desmond. Very, very close odds wise. Obviously, a bit leaning towards, very much leaning towards Palace, But yeah, I see 2-2, mate. I think they'll cancel each other out. I think they can definitely break each other down, which is what I've said many a time before.
Yeah.
But I just can't pick at this early stage of the season who's actually going to get over the line.
It's a difficult game for sure. It's not an easy game to choose.
It is difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I would not be surprised in any way that Palace turn over West Ham as well. West Ham have got a poor performance in them, 100%. Mm-hmm. A lot of teams do as well, of course. But just as you see and you think that they're building a squad, new signings, Wan-Bissaka, Kilman from Wolves, Madibo from Lyon.
Yeah.
Kudus obviously is going to kind of kick on a lot more, I think, this season. Along with Paquetá and Bowen. It's a strong team. I mean, if you look at it,
it is strong.
Just going through the list of players. So I'm expecting them to turn it around, man.
Makes sense. Let's go on to the third game. We have got Fulham at home against Leicester City.
The games are...
It's a championship game, this, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They could both be gone next year.
I mean, I think Fulham are a bit above that at the minute, and they have proved that to be over the last couple of seasons. They've proved that, in my opinion. They're deserved favourites for this game, I believe. They caused Man United a lot of problems, but were just lackluster in the final third. And that can happen, and they lost the game 1-0. They should have got something from that game. And I think, again, being back at home, Leicester doing very well to get the draw against Spurs at home. Now Fulham have got the home advantage. I think they're going to make it work for them. Score-wise, I'm going with 2-1 Fulham.
2-1 Fulham.
I'm going with 2-1 Fulham.
Fair
I still
enough.
think they've got enough. Like you said, championship-ish game.
It is definitely for me. Fair enough. I've gone for a draw again. Another game where I've picked a draw. Fulham for me. Like, although I want to like them, they're a London club. I like the fact of like what they've been doing over the last few seasons. They're buying people's third and fourth best players. If you buy people's third and fourth best players that are injury prone, like Emil Smith-Rowe.
Okay.
Like a few people. Palace? I do like Anderson, to be fair. I do like Anderson. But I'm saying more in the attacking sense.
Yeah, but
they've signed a lot of people that are...
You can't really put them in that category, I don't think.
That's a lot of money to spend on him, though.
It wasn't that... It's not even... What was it, 30-odd million?
27 million, yeah. Then add-ons, isn't it?
Nowadays, if you're looking at that, you think people like Gallagher could potentially be getting something for 40, 50 million.
True.
I think Smith-Rowe has a much higher ceiling than someone like Gallagher. Obviously, Gallagher is a lot more consistent because he barely gets injured.
Yeah.
So you have to weigh those up.
Yeah.
He can have all the potential in the world, but if he's injured and is never going to play, it's not going to be worth anything.
That's what I'm saying about Smith-Rowe.
And he looked a bit soft in the United game, to be honest.
He's not the hardest player in the world. That's not his game.
As in, like, soft in, like, not like physically, just in mentality of going forward and trying to cause problems.
Maybe he doesn't have the confidence in the Fulham team as compared to Arsenal, innit?
There's that, and obviously it's the first game. He's trying to figure things out. You might see him come out of his show a bit more as he was at Arsenal, being a lot more creative.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Forward, taking more risks.
Definitely.
But yeah, the role might change at Fulham because you kind of have to be more of a unit. You can't allow like the number 10s and wingers to be a bit more risky.
That's true.
Everything has to be a unit, especially when you're going away against United.
That is true. That is very true. Well, I like teams proving me wrong, which is why I take the mick out of these football clubs and these football players because they earn the money and they need to prove me wrong. So I honestly think that Fulham are going to be on that end of the table this year.
Yeah, okay.
And I want them to prove me wrong.
Yeah.
I think they will be with Leicester in that sense. Like definitely bottom half in my opinion. I think there's too many clubs that have bolstered their squads.
Okay.
I think Fulham have a little bit, but not in the sense that I would want them to go and like push on though. I think they'll be on that side of the table. That's just my opinion, isn't it?
That's fair.
I could be very, very wrong. And I don't mind being wrong. Let's go on to game 4. A game where we both think there's going to be loads of goals.
Yes,
City
indeed.
against Ipswich Town. What do you reckon in this one, mate?
I think originally in my head I went for 5-1.
5-1.
I went for a consolation goal for Delap just to score against his old club, basically.
Yeah.
And that was just about it, to be honest with you. There's not much to be said on this one, I don't think. City showed a lot of quality against Chelsea.
Yes.
Even with you could say a much weaker team.
Yeah.
Not a weak team by any means, but a weaker team than they're used to.
Yeah.
And still looked very confident. Ederson had a few fumbles and stuff like that, so I think potentially he might be able to capitalize on something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He got away with it in that game,
Mm-hmm.
and that might be all the mistakes he makes for the next like 10, 15 games or whatever. It didn't get punished.
Yeah.
So he might have got away with it in that sense. But yeah, I think City back at home. Gundogan coming back to the club.
He's mental.
Just when you think that City are looking a bit light in certain areas in midfield, and then they just bring back Gundogan for nothing. It's just like,
mental, isn't it?
Yeah.
It says a lot there when you see Ipswich Town 20-1 to win a game of football.
That's not even crazy to me. That's not crazy to me at all.
Well, to be fair, it is nuts in betting terms, but you're probably quite right in the fact that if you do put any money on Ipswich to win, you're hoping more than anything else in it. You ain't looking at stats and going, you know what, they could do it. No, you're not. You're just hoping that your little quid turns into 20 quid.
Basically saying that 5 times out of 100, Ipswich will win.
Yeah, which is fair.
which I could probably go along with.
Yeah, well, I would probably go with 1 out of 100, but
Yeah.
that's what they're saying in betting
yeah,
terms.
yeah,
I get what you're saying. So yeah, 5 out of 100. I guess City do have to have an off day now and again. We have seen them lose
Yeah, they
and
do.
draw against people.
They do it.
So
I don't see it coming here, to be honest with you. I think if it's going to happen, it's going to be away from home, potentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think should be a clean sweep for City. But yeah, I'm just going with the 1 goal, just with Delap scoring against his old club. Maybe a penalty, maybe a tap-in.
Definitely.
Game could be won by the time he scores. But yeah, that's just what I'm going with.
Definitely. I've gone 3-1, 3-0 City. I don't even think Ipswich will score.
That's low scoring, man.
Don't care that Delap is even playing for them because I don't even think he's going to do anything up top against them.
Yeah.
That is low scoring, 3-0. Yeah. But I think City, although they like putting teams to the sword, I think Pep just wants to now 2-3-0 teams and then not give too much away.
Yeah, just don't take risks.
Don't take risks, and also don't show the other teams how good you are until the end.
Take half the team off as well.
Yeah, exactly. Players. And then it's 3-0 and everyone goes, in seasons gone by, we've seen City win 6-7.
Yeah.
So they must not be that good this year. When in reality they are. They're just not pushing on. So
just starting off slow.
Yes, I think 3-0 City. You said 5-1.
5-1. Yep. I think it will be the biggest scoreline of the weekend for sure.
It's definitely looking that way, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
On to the next game. We've got Southampton against Forest, mate. Southampton back in the Prem.
Yeah.
Lost one of their best centre midfielders last season or whatever it was.
Yes.
James Ward-Prowse to West Ham. Yeah. I can't wait to see that one when they play each other. I think he's going to score a free kick.
Probably. Probably.
That is not what we're reporting on this week. We're looking at Southampton Forest. What do you reckon, mate?
I've gone with a draw for this one. I think it could be a back and forth. I would say, in my opinion, Forest have got more quality, in my opinion.
Yes, I would agree.
But that doesn't always show for them sometimes, man. And they do end up performing like a championship team in certain games against teams that have been in the championship previously, like in the last year or two. And it turns into one of them games and it's just the football goes out of it completely and it's just a complete back and forth table tennis match, basically.
Makes sense.
I think this is the game I went for 2-2 on.
Okay.
Yes, I just believe there will be goals in this game, in my opinion. Both teams can create chances and can score. Interesting attackers, interesting front line. But I don't see a clear winner. If I had to pick a winner, it would be Forest, but I'm still just going with 2-2 on this game.
Fair enough. I've gone the opposite end of the spectrum of you. I've gone draw. I've gone 0-0. I don't think there's going to be any goals.
Yeah, see?
I think they're going to cancel each other out. And I just don't see, apart from Chris Wood and maybe Diaz if he wants to turn up, the geezer. Apart from that, I don't really see anyone who's going to break through and score any goals. I like some Southampton players, to be fair, like Aribo.
You don't see like Hudson-Odoi, Alanga, that Gibbs White causing problems, scoring, assisting, creating chances.
I see them creating chances and missing, because Alanga does love getting into a brilliant position and putting it over the bar or putting it past the post. So I've gone with 0-0. Let's hope that your one comes true, because otherwise it'll be a bit rubbish game of football, wouldn't it?
Oh, maybe not. Just sometimes 0-0s are a lot more exciting than the scoreline suggests.
That's very true.
Fair.
That is very true.
But yeah. It's always nice to score goals.
That is very, very true. Let's move on to two teams we love, mate.
I'm going to go more than I can guess without even hearing, and you could probably guess as well. I'm going to go with one team, and you're definitely going to go with the other team.
100%. Tottenham v Everton, my favourite team and your favourite team. Tell me, what way are you going, mate, since you can already guess? Well, what do you think my score's going to be?
Our least favourite teams, you mean?
No, it's sarcasm, isn't it?
Oh.
It's our favourite teams, isn't it?
Sorry.
If you can't tell by the colour that I'm wearing, I do not support these two clubs.
I'm going with Tottenham. Not just because it's against Everton, to be fair. I just think Everton showed some worrying signs against Brighton. Tottenham were pretty good, actually, against Leicester for the most part. But the game just seemed to kind of slow down a bit and get away from them. And then Leicester were causing them problems, which, I don't know. Momentum can change pretty quickly and the fans get back on your side, which is what I think they will have on this occasion back at home.
Fair enough.
I've gone with 3-1. Tottenham. Pretty clean victory, in my opinion. Everton, really worrying signs for me. They've flirted with relegation for the past couple of years. depending on how they start, of course. I mean, if they get a points deduction or anything else as well,
Ooh.
it could be the season that they actually can't escape it this year.
Yeah, potentially.
Which wouldn't be good for the city of Liverpool. But they've flirted with it for far too long. They've shown themselves up to be poorly run.
Yes.
Over a consistent period of time.
Yes.
Which eventually will catch up to you.
That is very true. Funnily enough, I have actually gone for Everton to beat them.
Of course you have. Of course. See, again, I wouldn't even have to guess that.
Just because, again, you will not see me back in Spurs unless, like, they give me no option. Like, Spurs against Ipswich. Unless Spurs have won their last 4 games when they play Ipswich, I'm back in Ipswich. Well, I just don't care about Spurs. It's a bias that I have, but it's a bias that's in my heart. So it will never, ever leave. There's nothing I can do.
I guess whenever the game against Ipswich rolls around, Ipswich might have shown themselves up to put some good performances in.
I'm going to bet them. That's what I'm saying. So I've gone 2-1 Everton.
Bosh.
Okay.
Lane.
Okay. Yeah.
Turn up for the books. Probably looking at the bookie suggestions as well. Tottenham heavily favourites here.
Yeah.
Like less than half to actually win. So they're basically saying Everton. Well, yeah, it's a tough game. I'm looking at Everton like 1 to 5.5. That's pretty tough, to be honest with you. But I'm going with Everton just because, yeah, no reason apart from I just can't back Spurs.
Yeah, I understand.
Told you, mate.
And it's not that I can't back Everton. I just don't see them winning this game at all.
That's fair. That's fair. That is why we're in a competition.
Yeah.
We try and outdo each other and see who can actually come out on top. Because these are some of the fixtures that win you the whole thing at the end of the year.
Absolutely.
When you go opposite of someone when they don't think something's going to happen.
Well, you just need to not go against teams just because you don't like them.
I think this year,
take your heart out of it and just.
This year I'll back City more in it, but I won't be backing Spurs. I'll tell you that for free. Now onto a club that is actually my favourite team, Arsenal away at Aston Villa at Villa Park, mate. Hey. You tell me what is going to happen in this one.
Well. Aston Villa took 6 points off you last season.
Yes.
I think the only club to do so.
Yes.
Throughout the whole year.
Yeah.
Emery might potentially have Arteta's, and sometimes people say he's got his number and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Emery could have Arteta's number. Remains to be seen.
He could.
But based on last season, and you didn't even score against Villa last season.
We did not.
Which, I mean, it was one of your highest scoring
seasons ever.
In the league ever. But you didn't score 1 against Villa.
Mental.
I'm going with you're going to learn from those lessons of last season. I think I said 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
Bosh.
I think it will be a tight game.
Mm-hmm.
It might even be a clean sheet game, to be honest with you, for either team.
Fair enough.
I just think, it's probably it's the best game of the game week, without a doubt.
Yes.
Just looking at the fixtures.
Yeah.
And the game could bring a lot. It could bring a lot of excitement.
I think so.
Or it could be very boring.
Yeah, I get you.
You could have 2 teams just at loggerheads and not taking too many risks, trying to do things and not taking too many risks at the same time, not exposing themselves too much. But yeah, I'm just going with Arsenal to learn their lesson from last season, the 2 games last season, and Arteta will be wanting to say, listen,
we've got you, mate.
Against these last year.
We have to.
You lot need to turn up.
Yeah, we have to win.
We need to turn up.
We have to. I've gone 3-1 to Arsenal.
Yeah.
Convincing. Like you're saying, we need to show them that we can beat them.
Yeah.
It's great, I think, that their first game we play them is at their ground. So we can just prove that on the pitch, we're better than them. Forget about the fans. Forget about you lot are at home.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to be better on the pitch? And I think we've got their number. I think last year they showed us how to compact us.
Yeah.
City and you lot know how to do it quite well. You lot do it very well against us. When I say you lot, I mean Liverpool. Because not only do you compact us, but then when you break so fast and so openly that we can't contain you. And you don't let us do that to you. And City do the same thing to teams. They compact, and then they break so quickly in so many different directions, no one knows who to pick up. That's what Villa do. But I honestly think that when we go there this time, we would have learned, like you're saying. And I feel like we'll do the same to them. I feel like we're going to make it very hard for them to play their game.
Yes.
Which is why I've gone 3-1.
Yeah. Similar to last season when we were saying about it'll be interesting to see where Newcastle are going to be at.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly the same thing this season with Villa.
Yes.
Back in the Champions League for the first time in God knows how long.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Martin O'Neill days. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to do it. You're going to see the squad tested to its absolute limits this season.
Yeah.
You have a few injuries to key players in those games. You could turn out of the Champions League spots.
Yeah.
Out of the Champions League entirely, like Newcastle were. Just because there's so many extra games, you've got FA Cup, you've got League Cup. It's going to be a lot this season for Villa, and I'm interested to see how they deal with it. I personally think they're not going to get top four again this season. They'll do the same thing as Newcastle. They probably won't get out of the Champions League.
Okay.
Maybe not get out of their group, and they are not going to get top four this season, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
Too many games. Too many players in that team that haven't played in those
competitions
before.
There is a lot.
Last time. So, yeah, that's just my side take. Sorry.
Fair enough. No, that makes sense. Let's move on to a game which Newcastle will not have liked the look of last season. And looking back at the results that they got last season, it's Bournemouth against Newcastle at the Vitality, right? I do like their stadium. It's a very nice stadium. Bournemouth's a lovely place to go to.
It is.
If you ever want to go and watch a game. We've scored many a good goal there. And it's quite fun, to be fair, their stadium. And the fans are nice.
It's small, isn't it? It's
compact again, yeah. It's really nice. Like League One, Championship, but with the same facilities as a Premier League ground. So it still feels quite homely. But yeah, Bournemouth against Newcastle. What have you said for this one, my friend?
I think I originally I was siding with Bournemouth. I think I'm going to stick to that side as well, just based on all we said last season about Newcastle's away form. We were banging on about it. It was terrible. I mean, in the end, they started to turn it around, but like right near the end of the season, was it when they started actually winning a couple of games away from home? A lot of not confusion, but like maybe division in the club. It might seem. Trippier, the captain, kind of getting left out completely in the cold. You've got the issues with maybe potentially having to sell some of their best players, Isaac, Gordon, Gamora. So I don't know, man. Is that going to affect them mentally? Didn't get the greatest performance or result. Last time, I mean, they got a good result, of course, by winning, but the performance wasn't great. I think Bournemouth are a team that can cause problems.
Definitely. No Big Dom, though.
No Big Dom, that is right. But different striker. Is it Evan Nilsson?
Evan Nilsson, yeah.
So could he might come in and just kick off straight away. Like, you never know.
Yeah.
So I'm going with Bournemouth on this occasion, just more than anything as well, going against Newcastle's away form. And until we see what that's going to be like this season, I won't be backing them too many games away from home, to be honest.
Makes sense. What was your score? 2-1, do you say?
2-1.
We've gone the same scoreline again, I believe. I've gone 2-1 Bournemouth. Again, start of the season, I'm giving people their dues from last season, but I'm also taking into account that it is a new one.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with the fact that Newcastle need to up their game away from home. And again, they should be proving us wrong.
Yes.
So if I and you want to say that Newcastle are going to do horrible away from home again, then it's their job to say to us, right, we're going to beat Bournemouth, we're going to beat Arsenal, we're going to beat everyone away from home, and you lot need to shut up.
Yeah,
because until they do that, I'm not backing them.
Yeah, I think it's these games.
Yeah, it's these games.
Expecting, like last season, I don't think anyone wasn't expecting a lot against yourselves, against
City.
Us, maybe against
they beat
City,
us at home, not away, but yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's these games where if they had won last season, they lost 11 games away from home last season.
Nuts, mate.
Drew 2. So, and they finished. Where did they finish in the end? Last season.
I ain't got a clue. We can find out, mate. Somewhere in there. Somewhere in there.
They were out of it though. They were out of like the Europa League spaces and stuff, I believe. Which is, again, you won't look at it as such, but I think it's in a way it's a positive because again you don't have that many fixtures.
Yeah, seventh, mate.
So okay, so ahead of United.
But insane for how many games they lost.
They ended up 6 points. They ended up 8 points off of top 4.
Yes.
So it wasn't miles away at all.
No.
And
3 wins.
11 losses away from home. And some of the performances that they had, I mean, they got battered by Forest, was it like 3-0?
Oh yeah.
Everton, I think, battered them 3-0 away from like that.
Yeah,
It was like
yeah.
some just weird performances, man.
Dodgy.
And you turn them games around, and they could have been in the Champions League again.
Yep.
Even after having a poor campaign in the Champions League,
Yep.
but you go again. You learn from obviously the first season back in there,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know, man. I'm going with Bournemouth on this
Same,
one. Again,
same.
they need to show that they've turned around that whole thing of playing well away from home.
Definitely, I agree with you. No, they have to start doing it well. Like we had a period like that where we couldn't put any good performances together if we were going home and away. We were just dodgy. So they're going through that period now, and I think, like you say with Villa, this is kind of their time to shine because they're not in Europe. Well, they're in the Europa League, right?
I believe so.
7th, yeah. So they must be in there. Hopefully, they're not in any type of European football because that would help them.
Honestly, I'm kind of saying that it would benefit Newcastle. However you want to look at it, in my opinion, it will benefit them not being in Europe this year. I think he was even saying that again last season.
Yeah, we said it last season loads of times.
You could see how many games you could see, and then all of a sudden Newcastle were being spoken about, got massive owners and spending all the money and whatever else, and then their squad was just bare.
Yeah.
Halfway through the season.
Yeah, it was nothing.
And everyone was like, they've barely got any players.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Because you're just started out building a squad. You've gone into the Champions League first season, lucky to get there, in my opinion.
That is true.
Because of a drop off of other clubs.
True.
And it showed.
Yeah.
It showed immediately. You didn't have the squad, didn't really have the players to take you all the way through. So yeah.
That's it, mate. On to a second last game of game week 2, mate. Wolverhampton Wanderers.
This is an interesting
versus Chelsea. This is an interesting game because Wolves know how to play against big teams.
Yeah.
They like trying to have a go.
Mm-hmm.
They have lost quite a number of players, to be honest with you. And they haven't replaced them, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They've made a decent amount of money in the transfer window over the last 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
But when I've heard, what's his name, their manager?
Gary O'Neill.
Gary O'Neill. When I've heard him speak in a few interviews and on the radio, he's always kind of talking about how the club needs to be careful in the way they spend money. So it's not like they can just go out and spend 50, 60 mil on a player.
Yeah.
Even though they've made 100 mil, selling the players that they have, Neto and other people, they can't go out and just spend it.
Yeah.
Which is what a lot of football fans probably want to happen. If you see 100 mil into your club, you kind of want to see 100 mil out so that you can replace those people that you've missed. And in my opinion, I don't think they've replaced Neto. I don't think they've even replaced Neves.
No.
So it's going to be a tough game.
They just sold Kilman.
They just sold Kilman, who's played every single minute
last
season.
Big good move.
Great move.
Big player for them. And to lose it to a fellow Premier League club.
Yeah.
You could argue kind of, I don't know, man, Wolves maybe not as much, but like positionally in the table, I would put West Ham above them, of course.
Yes.
But it's not, I don't think it's a massive jump up.
No, it's not a massive jump
up.
You're
not going from Wolves to West Ham playing in Champions League and
No,
stuff. You know what
no,
I mean?
yeah, it makes sense.
In certain seasons, they've been there and thereabouts each other, so...
I get what you're saying. Before you do your prediction, I'll give mine. I've gone 1-1.
Bosh!
I think it's going to be another draw. I've got so many draws this week. Maybe it's just because we missed game week 1 and I'm a bit rusty.
You normally
and
give a few draws out in there.
Yeah, I give like big score lines out. I do like a Desmond, to be fair.
Yes.
But yeah, another score draw, mate. I've gone 1-1 in this one.
Yeah. I've backed Chelsea in this game.
Okay.
Is the short answer. I've gone with 3-1. They did
Wow.
For me. They did show some signs of causing City problems.
They did,
which not a lot of teams do.
Yeah, that's true.
Obviously they've got their own problems, but the way that the City game turned out, if you look at it, they didn't. For me, it wasn't complete dominance by City. They didn't open up Chelsea at every chance that they had. They scored a good goal. The Haaland goal was good, and then the Kovacic goal was good. The keeper could have done better for me, in my opinion, but the goal was still good.
Yeah.
A shot from outside the area. There's not really loads you can do about that apart from the keeper doing a bit better.
That is true.
So I think they've got a decent squad, in my opinion, a good squad of young players. We said the same thing last season. It's just figuring out which players are the best in which positions, playing them consistently so that they can get into a rhythm of knowing each other's strengths and weaknesses. Like, you can see it in training somewhat, but actually in game is completely different. And how you actually apply those things in game is completely different.
Yeah, for sure.
So I went with Chelsea 3-1.
3-1, mate. Fair enough.
They could turn it around, get back on track. And yeah, Chelsea are not far away. This is the thing with Chelsea.
They're not.
Always not far away from
not.
being back and competing again.
Mm-hmm,
Because of the investment that gets thrown at the club and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And the constant changing of managers because they so desperately need success.
Thrive. They thrive
mean?
off winning.
Exactly. They
They
desperately
thrive
need,
off
and
it.
it seems to work.
Yeah.
No matter what anyone says, they do have these sacking managers, but again, eventually it works where you get that one manager,
Yeah.
that one team,
Yeah.
a good season, they win the league.
Yeah. Or win Champions League like Tuchel.
Exactly. That's
Tuchel won Champions League, mate.
That's what Chelsea do. Tuchel went to every final. He
Yeah.
could have.
Yeah. You know, and then they sacked him. Insane club.
So-
Insane. Any of our clubs would snap their hands off to get to every final. And these lot are just getting rid of the geezer.
It could have been part, like the Conte incident.
Yeah, it's too much anger in it. It's a lot of aggression.
Personal issues.
You need someone a bit more,
bit more stable.
Yeah. You can get onto the refs. You can get onto the PFA. You can get onto the FA, but getting onto the other geezer on the touchline, I think it's not professional, is it?
Yeah, they're both as bad as each other in that incident, in my opinion. But I think Tuchel did have some supposed personal issues. So
yeah, I don't know what's wrong.
They didn't know where his head was at, maybe.
We'll go on to the last game.
Yes.
Your favourite
big game.
No sarcasm here. Massive game. Liverpool against Brentford. Your first game at Anfield, mate, this season.
Under Arne Slot.
Yes. I didn't call you baldy. That geezer. Against that geezer. So, I'll let you start it, mate.
I went with 3-1 again.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, did I say 3-1?
You probably did, because that was one of your favourite scorelines last year. 3-1, 2-1 was a Liverpool.
I went for a clean sheet.
I think you went 2-0, mate.
Yes, no, it was a clean sheet. 2-goal difference, either way.
Mm-hmm.
2-0 was the actual prediction. Apologies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just similar signs. I think we might see similar signs against Ipswich.
Mm-hmm.
First half could be a bit cagey, a bit worrying.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we weren't opened up too much. Alisson didn't have to deal with too many one-on-ones or anything like that. Brentford will cause a lot more problems than Ipswich. That's just a fact. It's just the way it is. But being back at home, I think I'm interested about how the season is going to go, honestly.
Yeah.
Different approach, play, less heavy metal, more
a lot less heavy metal, yeah.
So less risk taking as well, really, which, again, we kind of like that football because we come accustomed to it.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it can give you a heart attack at times as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where you're 2 or 3-0 up at times, and the other team scores 1 goal, and that's it. The whole game's changed.
Could be a draw.
Under loads of pressure. Exactly.
Could
you
lose.
end up drawing or losing the game. I see. Yeah, I'm going 2-0. I think a clean sheet could be on the cards again.
Fair enough.
Brentford are still a good team, so I don't think we'll run away with it by any means.
No.
Yeah.
Fair enough, mate. You're not really going to like my score.
I could have probably guessed that as well.
I haven't backed Brentford all the way, but I only watched like 45 minutes of your game against Ipswich.
The first 45.
The first 45. And the first 45 minutes, I was like, what is this? Like, I understand you need time to like get up to speed and different, but all of these players are Premier League players. Not one of them is a new signing. Not one of them on that pitch is a new signing, and they did not look cohesive whatsoever. Yeah. They looked like passing the ball to each other was a task at times. The back, I'm fine with the back. Your back is fine until they start attacking. But your back passing the ball to each other and Alisson, completely fine. That midfield, I can't. If that was my midfield, I'd be throwing screens about. Because there's no way I can watch Gravenberch, Szoboszlai and McAllister as a free when not one of them is going to go out and kick someone. So
listen, we have to wait and see.
I get what you're saying, but I honestly think from looking at that, obviously it's a bit biased again because I only watched 45 minutes. I didn't watch the Salah goal and everything like that. You could have turned them over in the second half. But from what I saw with my own eyes in the first 45 minutes, Brentford are going to cause you problems.
Of course.
And they did it to United last year, albeit it was at the G-Tech or wherever they play at home, and they bowled them over like 4-0 because of the high press. I honestly think it's going to be 1-1. I want you lot to win because I want the season to go on with us lot challenging for the title. But I honestly think they're going to cause you problems, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. I just, I'm confident, honestly.
You should be. It's your team.
Back at home for the first time. I think the Anfield crowd will have a part to play, no matter what anyone says. We'll see how quickly they take to Arne Slot as well.
Yep.
Which I think they will at least give him a chance. That's the thing about the fan base.
Yeah.
Yes, you've had the Messiah and stuff like that, you could say, with Klopp and whatever else.
Yeah.
But, times change, eras end, and this could be a new one.
Yeah.
So give him all the help and backing until he proves you otherwise.
Yeah,
basically.
definitely.
Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
So-
Not enough football fans do that.
No, exactly.
Not
Yeah.
enough do that.
They're just too attached to this one person and like even a player,
A way of
specific
playing,
manager,
yeah.
a way of playing exactly. When that might not always, and over the years it hasn't always been beneficial to us to play the
No.
way Klopp plays.
No.
Although
you could argue would not have won Champions League.
Exactly, it goes both ways. Of course,
So-
it's like at times it wasn't beneficial. At times it was absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
You're not beating Barcelona 4-0 at Anfield without being
without
the
being
way Klopp plays.
quick, yeah,
It's
fast.
just wouldn't
yeah,
happen.
It's impossible.
It would take too long. It will be 1-0 maybe by half an hour.
It is
Barcelona
impossible.
would still be chilling really
Yeah.
on that scoreline.
Yeah.
And so there's certain occasions where it was absolutely necessary. Certain times we felt like leave just ourselves just way too open.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Unnecessary.
Which is what I kind of see. It's what I kind of see happening here. But can Brentford do enough to keep you at a draw and nick the game at Anfield? It's a tough one.
Yeah.
A tough one, mate.
Yeah.
That's all the games, mate.
That's everything.
We've done it.
Game week 2.
That's it.
Back over. We'll be back for game week 3 as well.
Yeah.
Very shortly. It won't be too long.
No.
But yeah, thank you again for tuning in, from watching wherever you're watching from. Until next time, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.